Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Freeze, and welcome back to the Deceptilab. I know it's been a minute, man, especially with the whole Wednesday night thing. The football season is over. It went really, really well for my son, man. I'll talk about that a little bit. Um, but today, got a couple of things on deck for you. Really, a lot of stuff that I didn't get to talk about while I was out. Um, so I got a couple of new combos that I've been messing around with, and one that one of my teammates is messing around with, and this will actually be my first time trying it. So I want to take a look at that, um, and also want to talk a little bit of just about the state of the last couple of weeks, man. And I know that towards the end of the year, um, it's always kind of hectic. I always want to talk about that, and we want to talk about a little bit about what direction I think the game is headed into. Obviously, a lot of you guys probably heard the news about that Supercell is going to be 100% owner of Space Ape. So, um, just want to share what good and what bad I think can come out of that. So, um, yeah, definitely going to talk about that a little bit. And yeah, so yeah, and I never got to talk about the new weapon again last week. Obviously, I had made a pre-record last week, and like something happened where it started looping the front half of the stream. So I wound up taking that one down, but I did want to talk about that again, and let me know in the chat if there's any good combos that you found for the Forge of Solus Prime. And let me know how you like it too. I think it was a breath of fresh air. It's one time that the content came out and it was just good off right out the gate. So, but anyway, it should be a fun stream. Let's go ahead, jump into the newsletter, see what we got on deck for this week. So this week's event, it is called. I ain't got my camera up. Hold on for a second. Let me add that. There I go. So this one is called the Yesterday War, and it's week one of this particular season. And so we just got Alliance Totalizer. So we got a 500k with some extra tiers for people. And I love this because I was telling a lot of guys, I absolutely have grown to hate the 500k events, and the reason why I've grown to hate them is because you always have a certain group of guys that just want to go XP hunt when the event is over, and when you're in a war-based alliance, like you get up there Sunday afternoon and stuff like that after I watch some football and stuff like that. You do want to go knock out your wars and stuff like that, and so what usually happens though is the XP hunters will be like, "Hey, I'll be back," and then you sit there till Monday. So the fact they adding the additional tiers, and I've always thought that would be good for the game's economy. I always thought it would be good because one of the, ooh, and now I just realized there was no sound, so I'm gonna start all that over again. um, but this week's event is called the Yesteryear War. It is a 500 500k event, and what I was saying with my mic off is that you guys could have let me know that anytime, but that's all right. But what um what I was saying is that I love that when you scroll down to the bottom of this, they are allowing you to go up to 2 million. Um, and the reason for that is, did you? Oh, some folks said that they heard me the first time. I don't know how that is. It wasn't showing on my. That's weird. It wasn't showing as having the microphone uh on my studio software. That's really weird. Okay. It says it sounded real quiet. Well, anyway, how's it sound now? It says it should sound clearer, I would imagine. But yeah, I don't like the 500k events because all of the guys that want the XP hunt always go out after, and it's like, hey man, like like it holds you up from war, it holds you up from all these different things. Um, But yeah, no, it's just I'm glad that they started adding that stuff, and I think it's good for the game's economy as a whole because there are some people that just want to grind out every single event. So, decent prizes as usual. You get your six of your bot, 500k XP items. You get 350k spark. You also have 2.5k 4-star shards, 7.5k 3-star shards, and 60k of your premium crystal shards. And actually, bro, like they got some resources too. I am actually clean out of Energon, so I'll probably, it's an alliance event, so I'll definitely be participating. But yeah. So normal battle zones. Yeah, and Grim actually made a good point. He's like, if you're going out there and you're helping other alliances, that's good. For me, being in a smaller alliance family, there's only five, excuse me, there's only five alliances in the Horde, and most of them, all of them can self sustain during the 500k. Definitely when I was in other families, um, earlier in the game, like when I was in Darkness Family and stuff like that, I would go in and go help other players lower tier so they could go level up faster. So it's definitely good for that. Um, and hopefully, if you get good alliance family dynamics, hopefully people still do that even when realistically you can stay at home. Uh, I've just grown to the point where I just don't like moving for events that much. Period. It's a lot of work on the organizers when you have to go do um, other large events. But hopefully, it's just one of those things where, like, I only want to really move for endurance. So, but all right. So, we got our next season in the Cyber Pass up there. Business as usual, nothing crazy. And you get the new skins up there. I think they got it announced like last week, but so you got Quantum Operative skins and SG Dirge skins. I know somebody probably waiting on me to say it because I said no, the SG Dirge kind of cold. I think I like the skids one better. The Autobots get the good skins on these things. All right, so this is where I'm gonna start complaining and stuff a little bit. All right, so Saga schedule, and I probably won't get into it too much. I'll get into it when I get after I get through the newsletter. But this saga has been this has been crazy. So we've had last week, obviously was a really good event. But like, dude, like I want to say, was it every? No, the Halloween event I think was stayed the same. But like three out of the four of this past saga, or the first four, um, something or another changed, and it just got really, really irritating. Now, don't get me wrong, some of it I understand. Like we were supposed to release the combiner, Dino King and Raiden, and that had to go back because let's be honest, man, like it was trash. I showed you guys on video. Um, it was trash. I don't know how much you guys have heard, but Dale's helping out on this a little bit. Um, and we should be testing that again soon. We kind of got to a standstill on Dino King and Raiden, so that was frustrating. Well, before that, in week one, we wind up having, I think it was a 35k event instead of a 10. And stuff happens. They said they had to go use the backup event. The backup event was 35k. All right, man. It just kind of it kind of threw people off because just people had plans for the stuff. But then we got down there, and it still says it up there for week four. It's supposed to be an individual leaderboard. And don't get me wrong, as a player, I'm glad that it wasn't an individual leaderboard. I got the chance to go get a BBE. I'm glad that they got binary bond equipment up there available, even though I only got one. I know some people got two. I know some people got like five out of the event because they had the chest. But and I lied to you guys. I said I wasn't gonna go on a rant, but I'm still gonna rant about it because now I started talking about it, and it's just it got frustrating again. But my problem with it is this: if you are like me now, leaderboard players, I'm not gonna speak for anybody else's pockets, but typically I budget. So if I go into something like the endurance event and I know that I got X amount of bots that I'm going to try to level, so I might just go do the strategy that I told you guys about for Mayhem mode. If you hadn't seen that video, check it out. It still applies today. But one of the things that I was looking at is I started looking at, well, if I'm power level, I'm gonna spend more money. So I budget for this stuff. And so if I was budgeting for leaderboard, it might have been some things that I, would not have gotten. Like, I might not have been went and bought. Just some of the other bundles that came out, if a Dino Gate bundle came out and I say, yeah, now, it's going to be a leaderboard. I may or may not go by that. Now, that might not be the case for most people, but it's the case for me. And so I'm glad the I'm glad that it wound up not being a leaderboard, but I'm glad that it was better. Um, that being said, when you look at next week, that's supposed to be the 4-star combiner event, and I do have my concerns because, granted, we're going to start testing this soon. We don't know how that process is going to go, and I think we're cutting ourselves real short on time uh, to try to make that happen. If I had to take a guess, maybe we'll get it tomorrow in playtest, or what usually happens is we wind up getting it on Friday, and it may or may not work right when we first get it. So then you lose 2 to 3 days of testing it and making it right. So fingers crossed it works out well. As soon as I know something, you guys will know something. If we started tomorrow and it's looking pretty good, I'll probably make a video by this weekend, letting you know what's going on. But uh, it's definitely got to be some consistency in the event schedule, and I think that's just good for the player base, man, as a whole. So uh, fingers crossed. Check out all your content creators, the official ones, myself, Soldier, and of course Sunstreak Awaza, who should be on tomorrow. So make sure you guys go check out all of their content. Both those are the guys that helped me come up in the game. So make sure you check them out as well. And then Space Ape has their team stream next week. And if you hadn't already, make sure you join their Discord as well. But like I tell you, man, like I be telling everybody every week, it's a lot of times, and a lot of you guys talk to me on Discord. I'm not trying to be mean, but sometimes that's where you ask all the Space Ape questions, man, because they right there in front of you. So make sure you join that team stream. They on YouTube, they on Twitch, they on all those platforms. So, but all right, let's check out and see who we got in the chat. All right, so it looked like we got Michael Cooper who was first into the chat. Thank you for joining, Michael. Good friend Chris Harmon, one of my moderators and one of my earliest members, says hi, guys. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining. We got one of my other good friends and fellow content creator, Grim Studios, is in there. Says he needs to make more stuff on Halo Wars. So yeah, go make sure you keep doing like you've been doing and post that into my Discord when you do, because I always go watch it. I might not go say anything, but I always go watch it. So um, definitely go post that. We got Shockbomb28 joining us again. Thank you, Shockbomb. Lou Mega is with us again. 1, 2, 3, and perhaps 4 and 5. Thanks for joining again, buddy. We got E Rods, and it says, "Good to see me back." It's good to be back, buddy, and thanks for joining again. Callum is back. Was been in and out of the chat, so thanks for joining, Callum. Uh, and like I said, I talked to you one on one just to thank you for everything that you did in the community while you were still with us. But definitely you definitely missed, man. Like, it's just it's just the transparency that you brought, that transparency that it's the same thing I was just talking about to bring to the game. So definitely glad to have you around, and definitely miss having you in the game. So but thanks for joining. Let's see, we got David Lee is with us again. Thanks for joining, David. One of my good friends and members, Daddy Pig, is in here. Another one saying good to have you back. No, I appreciate it, man. Autobot Phil. So Autobot Phil asked the ultimate question. He was like, "Hey, are you going back to your regular schedule?" Yes, I am. And I said I was going to talk about it, but like, so yeah, with my son playing, he's playing freshman league ball, and here in Delaware, they play freshman football, and they play it on Wednesdays. And I was like, and the thing is, realistically, I probably could have made a stream. It would probably have been a little bit later, but then like I was like, most of the time, I get off work at 5, they play their game or whatever, and I'm usually home by about 6:15. But I was just like, man, after you do all that, some days I'm like trying to like cook dinner and stuff like that. I was just like, nah, man, like I'm just gonna go ahead and push till Friday. And then, when I started doing a lot of traveling, those started going wrong. But to answer your question, yes, I'm going back to Wednesday, with the exception, and I said this in the chat, but with the exception that I'll be out of town for Thanksgiving. That's to be expected, but I'll probably put some other content up there during that time to try to tie that over. All right, we got a Mega Core 93 is in there as well. Thanks for joining. We got, uh, yeah, we got my homie Jakada, good friend of mine, fellow playtester and member. Thanks for joining. We got we got one of my favorite players in the game, Dark Terror, in here, one of my moderators, and dabble in some content from here every now and again. But thanks for joining again, Dark Terror. All right, we got Eric Lautenschlager. Thanks for joining, Eric. Okay, he said hopefully more from the horde jump in. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know one time, it's been a couple of times when I was streaming, like damn near the entire horde jumped in there. I said, daggone. Let's see. Uh, this thing just jumped a little bit, so let me find my spot. All right, so we got Blade 19, one of my good friends and members. Thanks for joining. And we got another one of my playtest homies, King Grimlock. Thanks for joining, KG. One of my members, Jamie Carpenter. Thanks for joining. And I say, yeah, we just got you on. I think we just got you on my Discord the other day, I believe, right? Yeah, but thanks for joining. And Jacada actually made a really good point, and I know you and I and a couple of others have talked about this a lot, but we should be testing content for the next saga, not the current one. Boom. Like planning is everything, man, when you running a business. So like if you testing content for next saga, and then you sit there, everybody knows that it's coming, everybody knows when it's coming. At that point, you've already got it balanced. Um, Hopefully that's one of those things, man, that changes. And we'll talk about it, but hopefully that's one of those things that changes with Supercell. All right, we got IX Darkfire 6511. Thanks for joining. Oof. This keeps moving. We got RG is with us. Thanks for joining. We got Uzbek is with us, as well as Eddie. Eddie ONG, is that supposed to be like on God? Eddie on God? Joining us from Scorch United. Thanks for joining. Captain Flint is out there. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it says thanks for keeping that ear out. No doubt. Uh, And yes, that was a huge change. So Eddie says that that 25-minute combiner activation is awesome. So that was a complete surprise to me. They just rolled it out last week, and it's been lately. There's been a lot of positive quality of life changes. I will say that. I always, I talk about the good and the bad, more the good, because when it comes to the game, I'm a pretty positive guy for the most part. Um, except for like I had war like I had yesterday when it was absolutely terrible, and then I'm not necessarily happy, but yeah, no, it's definitely a nice change. But all right, I think I got anybody. If not, then just go tag me in the chat. So let's talk about. Let me go over to the main screen and add my camera. All right, that was weird because I think now it's showing I had two microphones running. Let's see, cut the camera on. And let's see what I want to talk about. So I'll start off talking about that new weapon. So obviously we got it last week. I know a couple of you guys in the chat said that you had it already, but what do you think about it? I actually really really like it. I I ain't have to test a whole lot of it, man. Like when I went in there and got it, I was like, this was really good right out of the box. I didn't really have any complaints. My only complaint, and this is the kind of stuff that I was talking about, because there's been so many like last second changes lately, that one of the things that I was concerned about was that we ended up the weapon was supposed to go into the and I didn't really understand. I think it was supposed to go into the batch, but it was supposed to it was supposed to go on sale, and people had got used to it going on sale. Um, I had a couple people ask me. They's like, well, where is it at? Because it was in the newsletter already. And I'm like, this is one of the areas that I get a little bit irritated with this game, because like if you put something in the newsletter, unless it's obviously an error, that should be basically written into stone. And I've always imagined, and I never asked this myself, but I always imagined that there was like some meeting that they have on Wednesday. Once they come out of that with all the final details, that's when they make the newsletter. So, like, if you already discussed this stuff should have been good. That should have been like, hey, this is what we're doing, we're selling it. Then we start talking about you get on Discord the next day, and this is what actually pisses me off, because you get on Discord the next day and say, and I say it pisses me off because not everybody uses Discord. I guarantee you, there's probably more people using reading subscribing to the newsletter just to keep up with the news than dealing with Discord that can actually get toxic from time to time. So, that said, I'm real big on just keeping communication consistent. So, if you sent it through a newsletter, send me another email saying, "Hey, man, we're not selling this now." Like, don't just sneak in there the next day on Discord. And now, because the first thing people do, first off, people gonna come and ask me thinking I know something about it, bro. I didn't. I saw the same. I saw the Discord post about it. That was it. I didn't know they weren't gonna do it. Less than 18 hours from when they said they were gonna do it. But yeah. All right. So he says, some Cod King, first off, thanks for joining. He says, try this out with T200. Yeah, I can do that. But they got that golden disc. But yeah, like so it's just the consistency piece that's been missing. It's been missing, and I ain't gonna say it's been missing for a while, because I'm usually the one that usually sees the positive in a lot of things that are going on in the game. But like when you like this saga's been really really terrible about just the knee jerk changes and stuff, man. Like, and that's another one of those things I said people probably playing for it. It's like, if you're going to go say I'm going to spend 150 on on this piece, and then it winds up not going on sale, then I don't know, man. Like it was just a weird situation. All right, so I got the request to Look at it. So you got golden disc. So the golden disc on T2 Optimal Optimus, when you know the bot specific core, going to reflect the damage. But the biggest thing, people like to go use that vector on it, and so I'm just gonna let them run. I'm just gonna let them run and get killed basically. But he when you use this forge of Solus, so you can actually watch his health meter there. And he's already resistant with that. He's really resistant with that core, but he's gonna heal himself a little bit. So that's the first revive, and then you're gonna run it again, and so he actually winds up just getting 2 revives. Man, it's pretty dope. Makes him really really hard to kill. It's one of my favorite pairings for this particular weapon. If if you have it. Like right now, I got the 5-star version up there. Obviously, that's not in on the live server, but This is one of those unicorn pieces of content where you're not losing too much when you go to the 4-star. I mean, dude, like I'm gonna look at a level 1, 2-star. So when you look at how they go and scale this, they're scaling it by ability damage. Now that 2-star didn't show the well, actually, I think that was just mislabeled. But you're gonna have an increase to the bot and combiner damage, which you know, all damage against outpost bots and combiners is gonna be good, or bots and combiners, period. And then you're gonna heal, and so the healing is gonna change. So that's one of the things where he was saying, hey, use alchemist too, so you know that the healing will stack and stuff like that. But like the 4-star we got last week works just fine at 1.7. Uh, normal attack damage to bots and combiners. You get a multiplier there. You got hack immunity. That's there no matter what, no matter what star level. And then you got that slam that's gonna give you healing. And the percentages change. But I mean, it's pretty good regardless. On this 4-star you got 20, and on this 5-star you got 25%. But one thing that stood out to me, and I was talking about this with a couple of friends of mine, is regardless of that star level, look at it, 60% health. Well, this one's not accurate, but the 3-star, you revive at 60% health, and you're reviving at level 1. So that in itself is huge. That makes it worth the price of admission. That means you could use several of these things. You're not getting hacked. You're getting the revive. Dude, it's pretty awesome to be honest with you. Like this is the best piece of in regards to combats and weapons that I've seen in a really long time. So yeah, man, like definitely worth it. I really like it a lot. I hope that, and this is what I think weapons were always supposed to be. I think when you look at the value of a weapon and you look at the fact that instead of taking 5,000 combat shards and getting a new combat, you go take, you know, 7.5k to go get a weapon. And like to keep it a band with you, like I went and got a weapon the other day, and it wound up being the Sword of Balance, and I was like, dog, like I don't even have the 5-star Sentius Malice. I left him in the batch, not because he's bad, but just because I didn't want to use him. I had other plans and other pieces that I was chasing. But I'm just looking around and I'm just like, damn, dude, like, why I have to go get the one that works on an individual? I would have been happy. I'd have been happiest if I would have got the Cosmic Rust Blaster, to be honest with you. But um, yeah, the Saber, I'd have been cool with the Saber. I'd have been cool with a couple of things. So for me, I was a little bit irritated by that. But this is what weapons supposed to be like. Weapons for for the fact that they're charging you know um, stupid amounts of money for you know um, yeah. Actually, I think I might have lied to you guys again. One other combo and a teammate of mine's actually put me onto this, and once I get him leveled, one combo that I actually really like for this is gonna be barricade. I like this new sword or this new weapon, this new forge of Solus on barricade. So I'm actually gonna show that again here in a minute. But it just makes them so deadly and so does so much damage. It's crazy. So I started working on mines as soon as he showed me a clip of what he could do. But barricade and drift work really well with this new weapon. It's actually kind of sick. Bro, the homie Magic has joined the stream. Thanks for joining, Magic. Yeah, that's probably one of my best friends in the game. But thanks for joining. But yeah, man, like, actually, I want to show this on a more difficult base and I think I might have it equipped to him already because I've been doing some playing around just to see. I probably just took it off of him to give it the T2. But that sword of I keep calling it a sword. The Forge of Solus is really, really good on him. So let's go ahead. We'll go in and play around with him a little bit. Okay, so now I got the 5-star on him right now. I must have put the 4s. Did I just put the 4-star? Yeah, I put the 4-star on. So that was pretty good. That was the 4-star I was using on T2. Crazy. But yeah. David Lee said his 4-star barricades at 3.2k power right now. So about what level is that? That should be pretty close to the top at that point, yeah. But yeah, no, this thing's legit, man, and hmm, yeah, I'm just for me, and I just shouted out Magic, but shout out to Magic again. Like one of the things that I've been looking at is trying to get more damage on my team, and now it's like when my other friend was saying to use barricade with this weapon after he realized the barricade could hold it, and I was like, shit, he got a point. Because he's going to do so much damage and he's going to have survivability. I mean, he's got pretty decent health, but he doesn't have a shield. So the fact that you're going to go get even more of a boost off of him. And now I've actually been using, what's it called? I've been using Onyx Core with him, but you can use his G1 and then he's just going to attack really fast. But look at how he maintains that health and look at how quickly he can take out outpost bots while using that. Now, the thing is, I got Rodimus Unicronus on my team, so when I go use that and barricade, he's just nasty. He can just destroy a lot of stuff. He's not getting hacked, so you can use him. He's a weapon you can use on the shield cluster. Dude, he's legit. Like right now, I'm just playing around with them, but dude, it's really sick. Hey yo, Big Joe joined the chat. Thanks for joining, Big Joe. KG said there's a couple of other sleepers with the hammer too. Yeah, I just got to dig around into it. But when I saw that, man. I think I had my barricade. I had just got him recently, and I think I had him on like level 10 or level 20 or something like that. When I saw that, I said, "Nah, I'm leveling him right away." Okay, so David Lee's is at level 58. I figured it was somewhere around 60. So yeah, yours is coming up. Yeah, Captain Flint says he runs the Megatronus on Barricade Drift. Yeah, so I mean, you start looking at different ways to go get additional DPS. Um, I hadn't tried that. I do know some people said they tried that combination with this and they enjoyed it. Um, then the survivability on the dude just scares me without that shield, but the damage doesn't scare me. That the damage scares everybody else. So, but yeah. All right. So one of the other techniques that I was trying. So you guys probably saw it. Most of you probably saw it, but I started running this thing, and this is what I'm trying to work towards right here. Is the team that you see on the screen. But I had some options, and one of the options that I was using. Now, granted, I just now got to the point where I took out Block, and that's Rook for you guys on the Autobot side. I just now took him out and put Nova Prime in there to pop my outpost. But um, but yeah, that's what I just now got. Uh, and I maxed him out this weekend at Nova Prime, Vector Prime for you guys on the Autobot side. But yeah, yeah, definitely did that. And then, I'm looking at possibly using Barricade in the place where I use Bludgeon or Ironhide for you guys on the Autobot side. So, but what I was doing now, Wild Rider is probably going to take that spot. Depending on how it goes when I actually see it on the live server. But I had just made that video called Trio of Death, and the whole premise around that is just that I was going to build everything around Rodimus Unicronus, you know, Autobots on your end, that's Inferno, to just boost damage and then just spam the absolute crap out of these AoE attacks. So I'll go pick on one of my buddies. I'll pick on Jacada for a minute. Alright, Blade 19 said he had to go. Take it easy, man. I'll see you later on. Dang, Big Joe was on fire, but he said he just maxed his second bot, Soundwave, and got the G1 or the G Metal G1 for Predacon Inferno. That's dope. And that's one of those cores where I'm not sure if we need it quite yet, but I think that's built for the next meta. I think when we get there, we're gonna be like, oh man, this is awesome. But yeah, I like to use Rod U, use his ability, and then combine it with the abilities of like Octo Punch, Sea Spray, Predacon Inferno, and Leo Prime, stuff like that, and you just see everything clear so quickly. And especially like right now, you can see Beachcomber's coming out. Just give off one more shot before Beachcomber, and just watch, because you getting that extra damage from Rodimus Unicronus, then it just makes everything come down even faster on an already strong bot. So I definitely like it, and and you can see right here, I didn't even take down this fire core right there, and so it still took everything down because Rod you. So that's one tactic that I've been looking at. But a buddy of mine actually showed me another tactic, and I haven't tried it yet. I've been meaning to. I just keep forgetting to do it because I've been busy. But he showed me something with Beachcomber and Deluge that was really, really crazy to me. So I'm gonna talk about that next. If Beachcomber and Deluge wasn't already crazy enough, am I right? Just But yeah, it was pretty cool what he was talking about. So I'm gonna show that too. Uh, but yeah, but yeah. So that trio death. If you didn't see that video, I talk about it in depth. But um, that's been pretty good. I've been using it off and on because I really don't want to have to continue relying on Octo. Uh, I may try to go to the Wild Rider, but I got Wild Rider in the cooker right now. He been in there. I think he got a few days left. But and then I'll probably max him out during the next endurance bit. But all right, so Cod King says to me, "What's a good counter remedy against Beachcomber and Deluge?" So this is a question that's going to come up a lot, um, especially now the Beachcomber and Deluge and the batch. And I think a lot of it, and this ain't my work. This is actually a lot of this is just coming from a lot of how I started building my strategies. Actually came from Magic. Magic was doing a lot of planning on this stuff. So what a lot of people do right now, a lot of people use multiple fracas and stuff. And don't get me wrong, fracas is great combat. One, the probably the best offensive combat that we got in the game. But one thing that you can look at, is you can start looking at your combats. And so what I started doing is I started using Fireline again. Um, and we'll talk about it because you want to get as much AOE. Because what winds up happening is you spend so much time fighting with Beachcomber, uh, especially in a crowded area. So what that's gonna do is that's gonna allow you. So Fireline Top Shot, that's gonna allow you to get some good AOE. And a lot of people start using them a while ago because they were just like, they was like, yeah, they nerfed them. It still works. It still got good specs. So that's one thing that I started doing. Another thing that I started doing is I was just talking about Rodimus Unicronus and Inferno. I started doing that, and what that allowed me to do is by using Rod U and and using Inferno, what that allows you is to kind of boost up that damage. You can also boost up your healing and stuff too, and all your abilities. So right now, I just took the combat because on the lab server, I actually use the Forge of Solus on him to kind of help with the survivability. But you know, and that's just a setup that I use that I've been playing around with. But um, getting that increase in damage, ability damage, and normal damage, it really does help, and it lasts for 10 seconds. So it helps you get them down faster. Other bots like Crankcase and Hoist, those are good ones as well. If that's something that you use, just because you're attacking them faster. Now the concern becomes in that case that a lot of people will say, well, if you're attacking him faster, he's got reflection. Reason why I like Crankcase there is because he's also got healing, so you can go up there and heal, especially if you got a team like I got where you're using like a Rod U or something like that. Granted, that's two support bots, but you got one thing I like about Crankcase and Horse is they're a support bot that can shoot back. So that's one way you can do about it. Uh, the other thing that I was looking at prime core wise is well, just core wise period, but we'll talk about the prime core is I started running this dude in my war team. Now somewhere, like I know a lot of people are gonna ask me, "Hey, I saw you had it on Skull Smasher." Like right now, I don't have it on Skull Smasher or Warpath. Right now, I actually I forgot where I put it, but right now I'm actually running this G1. So don't get stuck on setups. I tell that all the time. If I show something on the stream and I'm not talking about the setup, that means I didn't mean for it to be a discussion about the setup. So don't get stuck on that. But find somewhere to put it on your war team, because that's going to allow the rest of your team to attack them faster. Um, And I know for the longest time, because there's starting to be so many good G1s, and starting to be so many just different uh pieces of content that you want to put on your war team. You only got 8 bots, but this is one of them that I'm starting to add back again to help get them down faster. We were just talking about Wild Rider. I got a couple of teammates that go and just take them out with Wild Rider, or OG Wild Rider, and by that I mean Breakneck. So for all you guys that use Blue Streak, that's an option that puts a pretty decent dent in his that puts a pretty decent dent in his health. And if you don't, you still got let's see, Breakneck is Smokescreen. Is that right? Yeah. So if you use one of those bots, then it does help. Now, don't get me wrong, you need to be in good position when you use them, because that reflection is going to cause them a lot of damage. But like when you start talking about taking big chunks of damage out of them, that's how you do it. To answer your next question, if the Solus, if Solus is going to be good for him. So anytime you start talking about something's going to do extra damage against a combiner or outpost bot, then yes, it's going to be good against the. It's going to be good. It's one of the reasons why I was using it on Barricade, because Barricade can, he's going to have the range for it, and then he's going to put major damage on. He's going to put major damage on Beachcomber Deluge when you hit him with Barricade. So that's another option as well. But yeah, when you have a weapon like that that's gonna do additional damage to outpost bots, then yeah, it's a good thing. And so yeah, that's what I thought too in regards to. So the question is that and basically Cod King saying I was told that Smokey and Breakneck's a risky counter. Since at higher levels he can be one shotted by his own ability. Due to Beachcomber and Deluge's reflection. So it depends on a few things. I saw it more so with Wild Rider than, but both of them are pretty squishy. Um, it depends on your level of of yours of your bot, how you get them set up and stuff like that. So, and like I said, you have to be in good position. Like you can't be taking a bunch of fire and then shoot at Beachcomber. It's not going to work, because you are going to wind up shooting yourself. But it can be done under the right circumstances. So you just have to be really strategic about it. All right. So let's see. So a buddy of mine was showing me a tactic, and I hadn't tried it yet. But I want to try it out on the stream to see what I think about it. So since we already on the topic of Beachcomber and Deluge, so he actually used Beachcomber and Deluge on offense, and he used it in combination with, he used it for sack. So I'm gonna try it right here with a Ramjet. Let me look at his stats real quick. All right, so you can reduce his damage. Like, I actually don't like his G1 at all, but I don't know why I got it on him, but I do. That's probably a placeholder that I had on there. But I'm gonna turn this up, and I'm gonna try to use that to basically do a couple of things. Make the base destroy itself. But man, it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go here, drop Deluge, and I'm gonna start Ramjet, which is gold fire for you guys on the Autobot side. And what I'm gonna do is go ahead and use the ability and start flying around. And what it allows you to do is hack huge portions of the base. And that's actually what I'm gonna look at the hacking. and you still setting stuff on fire. Now that didn't work for me the way that I wanted it to, so let me go try something. And it might be because I'm using my mouse and I'm doing it too slow. But yeah, he was hacking a bunch of stuff, and he actually. So let me do another one. He actually put flame one. I only got the 4-star in here, so it might not work as well. But what he did, he popped a bunch of outposts like that, and then was able to clean a bunch of stuff up with his combiner too. So let me try that. Let me try it that way. I'm gonna try to bring in Deluge. I'm gonna bring in Ramjet. I'm gonna bring in, and I'm just gonna use both of them. And another part of that is, you wind up making yourself invisible as well. So you get all this hacking, and you can't be identified, and then jump in there while everything's being hacked with your combiner and everything. Now it's gonna start back up without being hacked, and I'm not even paying attention to it. But yeah, man, I actually just that little bit of softening up that it did to the healing cluster in itself is pretty impressive by having two bots go in there. It actually did quite a bit of damage, so it'll be one of those things I had to play around with more. Definitely had to play around with it on my actual cell phone. But nah, it's not terrible. He's a little bit more proficient with it than I am, but yeah. Yeah, now Candyman, one of my good friends and members, thanks for joining, buddy. He says, I missed the stream, man. You know what? When y'all ain't seen me in 2 months on a Wednesday night, or I think I imagine it's Wednesday daytime where you're at, but yeah, nah, it's a little bit different, man. It's all right. But one last thing, and I'm not going to talk about it long, but I did want to talk about um, with Supercell taking over 100% for Space 8. Um, First off, let me know in the chat what you think about that, because I said when I saw a lot of people talking about it on YouTube, and I'm actually going to pull up the chat so we can go look and see what everybody's talking about. Um, I need to pull up a version of it for myself. Yeah, so he's Candyman. I said it's Thursday morning over there where he's at. But I honestly, I think that the if Supercell takes over completely with them, my question is gonna be, what are they gonna do in the day-to-day operations? Because I think if they get involved, if they get heavily involved in the day-to-day, I think it's gonna be a good thing because and I might be wrong, but it just appears to me, in my experience as a player and a play tester, it seems like there definitely needs to be more manning. Isn't it? Because I don't think that the Space Ape team, the development team, is not capable. I think they're trying to do too much with too little people. And I don't know if that's going to come with something where they're going to have more resources um, from Supercell. But what I do know is this. I said I know that Supercell make Clash of Clans, and Clash of Clans been running for a real long time. And, with a lot of satisfied players. I do know that also some folks kind of say that they Supercell it can get cash grabby. I hadn't played a lot of their games. I say I'm definitely aware of some of their more popular games and stuff like that. But I do wonder. And when I first heard about it, one of the things I was looking at was content creators, and Waza had actually talked about this way before I did. So because they had some controversy where basically, um, and I don't know all the details. I actually heard this when Waz was talking about it, and I looked into it a little bit, but not too much. But something happened in the game when the content creators didn't really care for it too much, kind of slammed them, and and that turned real ugly for him. I think he got banned and stuff like that. So, um, but from a content standpoint for myself, and actually in my Discord, I got an area for content creators to talk. So for a lot of guys that make TFEW content, I was telling them, I was like, look, they got a lot of resources to help up and coming content creators. Now, technically, they're official content creators. Uh, it takes about 5,000 subs, but uh, at a much smaller number, they allow you to get a handful of resources they use to help you and help you promote your channel and your content. So that would be really, really good because I know, like, before Callum left, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I put a lot of good ideas out there for content creators so y'all can get more love, and especially with it only being like three of us. Um, so shout out to him for trying to look out for us. But I think Supercell is going to do a pretty good job with that. So Cuddy Fox says maybe they will listen to the player base better. I know Space Ape does too, except for the new bots that the community wants. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on what capacity, like how involved they are in the day-to-day operations. And I appreciate that, Callum. He says he support me always. But yeah, no, I definitely appreciate that. But so hopefully that's the direction it goes in. For me, I'm looking forward to it. But hopefully it throws a couple extra bodies into some of the other processes where hopefully there's like one big like super team that runs this game. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like if I'm a company like Supercell, I definitely would be interested in a game like this just for the licensing alone. When you get something that Hasbro makes and whatever, something that for a lot of us, like I'm 43 years old and like you know, for nostalgic reasons, you want to play Transformers games. So Daddy Pig says pricing in this game needs to change. Some stuff is way overpriced. I agree with that. Like I mean, case in point, we were just talking about that like the $150 weapons in the game store, and one of the things that when I was trying to make the stream last week and my stream got all messed up, or the pre-recorded video got messed up, because a lot of times I'll have a live chat. One of the things that I was trying to talk about in there is that when we went to this new online store, because there are limits, I believe, to what they allow you to charge on Apple Store, Google Play, stuff like that, from a mobile game, and I think it stops at about $100. To be honest with you, don't quote me on it. Um, so now the web store allows you to charge more for content, but it's just like, all right, man, like, and it's good. I told everybody on video that I considered that if this Forge of Solus was out, I considered going ahead and just buying it flat out. But then I thought about it and I was like, man, these guys are charging me the price of nearly three console games for one weapon that I can use on one bot in the game. And it's like it's good, but I was like, man, it's just not quite that good to me. Like, certain things have value or whatever. Like the legacy bots, you sell them in the store for $50. All right, whatever. So I gotta see. Grim said I should showcase him with Dirge, and that's what I was saying earlier. So like I had to get my re-imported. So like I don't have my 5-star Dirge up there. I got my 4-star at level 60. So that might get it done. I can do that while I'm talking. Actually, I'll go down. I'll drop down to a lower level real quick while I'm talking about it. But what am I doing? Oh, okay. I was trying to go to. But yeah, that's just one of those things, man. The pricing on this stuff, pricing on this stuff just been kind of crazy, and it depends on what it is, man. Like, I get it. It's a business. You got to make money and stuff like that. But I honestly think that you make more money, like like mayhem mode. Mayhem mode, and some people still disagree, and I respect that. But like mayhem mode is great. I think mayhem mode, it's gotta be making more players. It's got to be making more players go into this game and say, "Hey, man, I'm gonna do an event. I'm gonna do, the mid saga event. I'm gonna do the mayhem mode for the endurance event. It it has to be improving that stuff. There's no way that it's not improving that stuff. I said it would have to be. I think you're crazy not to do it. To be honest with you, not to do endurance at this point. I mean, if you're a player that spends, that's like because now, I'm showing you how to do it for $20, $40. Well, not endurance for $20, but like for $40. It's doable now. But yeah, that's pretty cool though. I'm glad Grim said something about that because if you use like Dirge for the range, hack, and then you use, your other bots for the short range hack. I mean, it winds up being pretty good. The one that I really like, I actually um, one combo that I use a lot of times in events. I actually like Deluge and Quellagon. So yeah, so like a combination of like Beachcomber and good gosh, what's the Autobot version of Quellagon? I'm brain dumping everything today. Twin Twist. That's one I actually like, but I just don't use either of them on offense in wars. But I really like it during events, and honestly, like if I wanted to go do something like that in a war, it would be an option. So, all right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, certainly got it. And it's like, hey, thanks for joining, by the way, but yeah, yeah, he said he got me straight. Said twin twist. Yeah, this has been one of them long days, man. Like it's Wednesday, man. I got in work today, man. They gave me like three new assignments at work today. Like when I was sitting up there already working on one large assignment, so like my brain is cooked. Which surprisingly, I think I had a pretty decent stream today because usually that is when I have a good stream though, is when my brain's completely fried. So go figure. Oh, Grim said Grim said this whole time for Scourge. Oh, the counter to Scourge and Swoop. That I'm gonna actually try off on the side. I'm gonna try that in play test and see how that goes. So Candyman says they pushed the Cyberstore real hard upon a release, but now they barely seem interested in it. I mean, no, because there's still content that goes in there that is exclusive to the Cyberstore. So, um, but that said, that's when I was talking about this saga being really, really weird. One of the things that I was talking about is that we were supposed to go and get the $20 bundles that you can go in there and get your combat spark and your 5-star, combat shards and 5-star shards for bot shards. And That's another thing that went into the newsletter, didn't make it to fruition. And I was like, dude, like that'd be dope. But you know what probably would have happened if they would have did that and they released the new weapon? People would have just bought both bundles and then went and bought the new weapon. And it took one of my friends pointing that out to make me realize. I said, maybe that's not a good idea. But then we didn't get the new weapon either. So I imagine that after, if I had to take a guess based off what my friend was saying about that, if I had to take a guess, they will probably not release those bundles. Yeah, they released the ones in game. I don't think they'll release that second set until that weapon is in batches, because then people could realistically just go buy both bundles, and then now you bought the weapon for $40 as opposed to, and then you still get 2.5K, I believe it will be, shards left. So if they go, so this, if for whatever reason they do put that other $20 bundle in there and you hadn't bought them yet, you realistically could go and buy that weapon, essentially for $40 if if it's the one that you pull when it goes into the patch. And so instead of 150, so that's pretty huge savings, pretty substantial. You know, $110 savings if that was the case. So if I had to take a guess, that's probably why they didn't do it. But all right. But all right, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for joining. Like I said, I am going to be back on my Wednesday schedule, so make sure to tune in. If I find anything else about this Dino King and Raiden, I'll be sure to try to make a video about that this weekend. I'll let you know where we're at. But other than that, man, I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Freezy is out.